One. I am here to show you guys, ladies and gentlemen, like the part right here. I love it when they mute out my music. I'm gonna see first off. I just gotta be patient here, I guess, to see if they muted the first song. Huh. I guess it's a threat to be like, well, it's somebody else's music. Well, guess what? Am I Donald Trump? Am I using it for campaigns that have affiliation to evil? Last time I checked, I didn't. So it's just funny how they muted all that. You can see me dancing. Right here, yeah, it's still Silverchair. So like,
I know it's loud, right?
they don't mute that, and they don't mute Slayer. Okay, I'm sorry, but the darkest moment I had here is right here. Trying to make horns on my head. Can I skip it? Okay, anyways, I want to show you guys something funny here. It's not the point of the video right here. I want to show you guys this part. Only I can see this. Only I can see this. Well, now everybody can see it. And this was muted. Unbelievable, eh? Like, it's just unbelievable that it takes one person like Donald Trump to ruin it all for everybody else. But I want to show that part right now. I also want to do a triple take on... Just hang on, bear with me here for a second.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth with a bombshell report today exposing the deep state in Canada, the secret government that has been manipulating our political leaders and society behind the scenes. This is something I've been talking about for years now. In fact, this is also something that was written about in this book, Propaganda, written by Edward Bernays, published in 1928. It's a really important read. I would suggest you check it out. It's not a large book. You can do it in an
Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to leave. Actually, I'm going to do a double take here. Double time. Double time. Yeah, let's go. Double time. And I'm just going to... Double time. I'm actually recording myself on my screen, Crastify. You'll see it. Since I upload it. It does take a bit to upload things nowadays. Let me check for a second, please. Look, it says, crap. I don't want to do that. I want to see what the event logs are. And I'm going to get back into the story of what I'm doing. Come on. Really? It won't let me click on it. Fuck you then. I can do this. Now I can do it. Now I can show the world. Motherfucking idiots. No, fucking pardon my French, but really, I am showing the world. Video status changed from preview to live. Live service received the video signal. So look at that. They finally received my single. Now, are you going to like my single when I do this?
Evening. So I want to preface this video today by reading just the first opening paragraphs of propaganda so you can have a better idea of what we're actually dealing with here. This is what he says in chapter 1 for the opening of the book. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. Now keep that in mind as we go through this report. Canada, Feds advised to bring the focus back to the majority to counter the threat of populism. It says here, newly released documents show senior government officials were advised to bring the focus back to the majority instead of on the diversity values in public communications to counter the threat of populism in Canada. The task force deputy ministers heard this idea, among many, during meetings last year, looking at what the government could do to guard against a possible rise in extremism and populism domestically. The group was told to encourage more public conversations and debate focused on us rather than us versus them narratives to foster of. Now keep that in mind as we go through this report. Canada, Feds advised to bring the focus back to the majority to counter the threat of populism. It says here, newly released documents show senior government officials were advised to bring the focus back to the majority them narratives to foster social cohesion. So we're already seeing the language creep into their narrative here. They want to encourage more public conversations that will foster social cohesion. A briefing note prepared for the senior civil servants warned that if only marginalized populations are considered, well, the result would be that others feel as if they do not matter. Social cohesion must become a new lens of policymaking. Oh, really? In order to achieve this, the government needs to build connections across differences, foster greater empathy, and bring us back, the focus back to the majority, i.e. middle groups, officials wrote in the documents. Can't we all just get along as one big happy family? This is globalization talk. This is one world government talk, as we will get into. Now, just who is spewing this? Who is telling our government officials that this is what needs to be done? The suggestions originated from an international expert invited to speak to the Deputy Minister Task Force on Diversity and Inclusiveness back in October of 2018. The Canadian press obtained a copy of the presentation and other documents to the task force under the Access to Information Act request. Tim Dixon, co-founder of the UK-based think tank More in Common, told the task force that Canada is facing the same disruptive forces playing out in other countries that can fuel polarization and division. Oh no. Although Canada may be more resilient to these forces due to past successes in building an inclusive national identity. He said polarization of opinion can cause some to become resentful of minority groups perceived to be getting social benefits, such as housing or social assistance, at others' expenses. These sentiments are most common among the majority of people who fit into a middle group category, marked by moderate views between the extremes of cosmopolitans with open values and nationalists with closed values. The language is getting a little more bold. I hope you're understanding the connections here, what they're trying to present: cosmopolitans with open values and nationalists with closed values. That's why Canada was advised to build social solidarity by avoiding pitting the interests of one group against another in public communications. Rather, Canada should elevate the more in common message and demonstrate the falsehood of narratives of division, according to Dix's presentation. The documents show that after the meeting, officials discussed ways the government could incorporate the advice into federal policy. Hang on a sec. Shouldn't that be a part of the meeting? Let's read that again. The documents show that after the meeting, officials started discussing ways the government